Hey everybody, welcome back to Thimblewolf Gaming. It's been a little bit longer than I intended, but hopefully this should come out without any issues. Today we are going through the map High Pass. So basically, Fellowship has embarked already. Gloin and Glorfindel are setting out on an adventure to deal with the goblins in the north. Elrond's still back at his home, and we're just dealing with our two main heroes, Gloin and Glorfindel. And basically they have to work their way through the mountains, and this is one of the key passes. We kind of get ambushed by goblins partway through. This is a less, I guess, lore-relevant map, but it is a good one to kind of help us get a feel for playing the elves. So let's just go ahead and get a start. We've got a few units to start with. We've got some soldiers, we've got two heroes, and we've got a starting fortress. So this is the first chance that we get to actually start building, at least in the good campaign. And so we're just going to start off with some Malorn trees. It tells us that we should start with them, and then we'll build one, and it's like, oh, now you need to build all these other things. Now I'm going to get my economy going and maybe start balancing it from there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my troops forward. There's some goblin layers up here that I'm going to wipe out. There should be 2 plus a couple battalions. Strike that, 3. So there's this one I'm looking at, the one to the top left, and there's going to be one over to the right. We're just going to set our elves to aggressive. They're stronger than goblins, so we can tank the damage. I'm going to use Glow and Sapper ability. It's basically a... not Sapper, Slam Shot, or whatever it is. It's basically a power strike that launches units back. It's almost like Word of Power. Get the gold first. Okay, now we can kill these guys. It's kind of useful. It depends. Gloin is a very powerful hero. He doesn't have very many powers, but most of his powers are really strong. So right now he has a power that acts as like a wizard blast, and then his other one totally destroys buildings. Okay, let's kill these guys. Like I said, I'm going to focus balancing my economy and my buildings. I like to put a nice little ring around my fortress, or if I'm playing as men, I'll put like a square. It's not important, it's just aesthetic. So I tend to do that because I enjoy it. It looks better to me, but tactically you may find that some things work better than others. Okay, so I'm going to get some upgrades. We'll come back to that. Okay, so basically, there's an ice tower in front of us, and you can kind of see there's this giant here. He threw a rock at it. That's one of our main passages through this mountain. Let's go ahead and finish killing these goblins. We have 2 main routes through the mountain. One of them gets destroyed immediately, kind of as like a warning shot to let you know, hey, this is something you need to be aware of. The second one, you have a lot more time to deal with it. That one's just a guaranteed, whichever one you come to first, it's going to happen. You're going to get blocked off in one route, and you're going to have to find the other route around. The other one, you'll have much more time to deal with it, but don't dawdle too long. I have kind of, just to test it before, I've waited to see what happens, and you can actually get trapped on one side of the map, and then the level is unwinnable after that. So, don't push too hard down the other route until you're ready to take down a mountain giant. Which I am not, since I'm working predominantly with swordsmen. Once we get some archers, that'll change. Anyway, let's destroy this goblin cave. And we're basically here, we're gonna keep putting in these Malorn trees. We're gonna keep upgrading our base. Again, I like to do the circle because it's aesthetically pleasing. You may find things that work better tactically. Sometimes it's better to spread out. Certainly it's better to have, if you're fighting up against a tough computer or a player, it's better to have more buildings, because the more troop-producing structures that you have, the harder it's going to be to take you down. Okay. I think we have to train the Lancers. I'm not really going to use them. I'll probably train them and sell them back to the fortress. It's not the horse... like cavalry units are not good. They are. It's just, practically speaking, for this map, it's not as helpful. Okay. They can manage on their own. I'm gonna get this Malorn tree up. Okay, now let me clarify when I said we don't have the units to take down a mountain giant. We do. The heroes can take them down. We just need to be really quick about it. Because you do have a little time to work with, but I would rather just, like, kill him in a couple of shots and not have to worry about, oh, I got trapped on this wrong side of the pass. It's not something, I don't want to restart the level because of it, because I spent too much time and just wasted my time. Okay. Upgrading our heroes. Go ahead and put in a Malorn tree. Sure, we'll get Mist. Yeah, let's go ahead and get Mist. Those level 10 powers are nice, but these level 5 powers will be enough for what we're doing. More goblins? It's like they've overrun the past. Alright, let's put in a Region Forge. I like that they threw that in there. That was a nice touch. A region is a region in Middle-earth where the elven smiths live. And it's, well, before it was destroyed, it was home to, like, the finest elven smiths alive. And so now they're basically like, hey, your upgrade unit isn't just a normal forge, it's an Eregion forge. I can't guarantee it. I got into an argument with a friend over it. I thought I read in The Lord of the Rings that technically they could have melted the One Ring in an Eregion forge if they could have gotten it hot enough. But the Eregion forges weren't really working. I think this was after Eregion had been destroyed. And so the only place hot enough left was Mount Doom. I think that's what I read. I could be wrong. It could be what you see in the movie, oh, it has to be Mount Doom because it was created there. But I thought it was just a matter of, hey, you just need an insane amount of heat to make such a magical artifact or to destroy it, and the only place left is Mount Doom. It's not really all that important, but could have sworn I read it. Okay, so we got our Lancers. I'm really not interested in them. It's not that they're not good against infantry, and there is a lot of infantry on this map. It's just I've played this map enough times to know what works and what doesn't. You're going to encounter a lot of units you can't trample, and that can do a lot of damage to your cavalry. And Elven cavalry is not that strong. It's not, like, terrible, but it's not great. So it's not that useful, and I know that there's a twist coming, so I want to be prepared for the twist. There's always one. I mean, they try and make one little, shall we say, surprise for you, so that it's not just totally, oh, hey, this was easy, it was a cakewalk. They're never super difficult, but, you know, they always put one in there. Do they? There might be one map where they don't. Like, one. But that's about it. We'll get there. At the moment, I just want to finish upgrading my fortress. Not like we're in any serious risk of being attacked. I just think it looks aesthetically pleasing. People, I don't know how frequently they go for arrow towers versus siege engines on their fortress. I personally, if I'm playing the elves, I think I prefer to have the arrow towers. You don't quite get the range, and that's a problem because, you know, siege can hit your fortress and then you're in danger. But those arrow towers absolutely demolish units when you get Silverthorn arrows. So I tend to go for them. And they're cheaper early on, so if you're getting harassed by AI, then it is a great plan. Okay, that's good. Let's get an arrow tower up here. I think this is probably as far forward as I'm going to build. I'm just going to set up a little sentry post here. I'm going to have arrow towers on either side. I'll have a pool of Galadriel to help heal. and maybe a hero statue. Though I don't know. I haven't decided. I'll probably put one in. They don't do as much as they used to. They used to give you like plus 10 command points. And now I think it's just a leadership buff, which isn't nothing, but it used to be useful to just be able to build a ton of those for command points. Okay, do I have the money yet? I don't. I'm broke. I'm poor. I'm a peasant. And I'm spending all my money. Okay, we got our pool. Let's put in this. Silverthorn is just so effective. I mean, look how it just sends them flying. Granted, they're unupgraded goblins, but still. They're just getting absolutely bodied. Now, I will say, you don't have to, but you can get the most out of your troops here if you completely upgrade your army first. Like, get a full army and then upgrade it, and then go from there. You will get the most out of your troops if you do that. There is one plot twist coming in where we have potential chance to get some reinforcing units. You'll at the very least have a shot at getting a hero. But you might also get a couple extra battalions, and then you can kind of have more troops than the game wants to allow you to have. Here we have 600 command points, so if you max that out and then you get 2 more battalions, you're actually working with 760, 800, something like that. Sorry, I'm building those out of habit. I tend to build around 10 of them because they're supposed to give command points, but they don't anymore because I'm playing on 1.06. Let's get heavy armor. That benefits everybody. We'll get banners, same reason. Can I do it? Can I do it? That's where the other mountain giant is, and I'm thinking maybe I could send Glorfindel over, but I don't know, man. Apparently our lands are in trouble. Kill these guys. This map, none of them are super hard. There's the last 3 levels of the campaign get a little bit harder. But none of these maps are super hard. It should be pretty easy to walk through these. If you're having troubles, just go slow and patient. Work on an economy. You can always outproduce your enemy if you've got enough money. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm just trying to take it slow because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and also I don't want to. I've got enough time. I want to make sure that giant goes down. Happens to you once, and then every time after, you have to be uber careful. I will say, I've been thinking about it. I think if I were to give ratings to this level, like grades, letter grades, I think this one gets a solid B. It's not very difficult. I would have liked a little bit more difficulty, but it is really good for starting you out. The one thing I don't like is that there is a chance that you can't beat the level if you don't kill the giant. I feel like this is still kind of the training wheels portion of the campaign, and so they shouldn't have something like that in there. But it does give you enough room to build with. You get access to most things the elves have to offer, and it gives you room to play around without a whole lot of risk. So give it a solid B. The aesthetics of the map itself are beautiful. It really is. It's a nice map. It would not be good for a multiplayer, but for a campaign it works perfectly. I wouldn't even like it in a skirmish, but again, if your goal is just to play the campaign. It's very good for that. It's set up for that sort of thing. Okay, let's get some upgrades. We're going to get some forge blades, some heavy armor. Elven units are not strong, per se. Like, their health isn't the highest. Their armor isn't the best. But they do a lot of damage. And if you get them to a high enough level, they'll heal on their own. So, I'm trying to give them upgrades so they'll have a little bit more life, but you don't really need them. I mean, honestly, you could just train a ton of troops and have a ton of troops ready to train and then go crush them with unupgraded troops. It's just easier, and I like the look better. Okay, we're about maxed out on command points, so let's finish getting upgrades. It would be nice if we could build more fortresses. I mean, well, I guess technically we can. They cost a lot of money is the problem, and I don't want to wait around for $5 grand. The advantage is that with elves and with Isengard, you get forge upgrades, so you can decrease the cost of units dramatically if you have all 5 upgrades. Isengard might actually be the best for that because they have one upgrade that decreases the cost of upgrades, and they have one fortress upgrade that decreases the cost of buildings, which is nice too because it kind of stacks. And so I think by your last fortress, you're paying like closer to $3 grand than you are to $5 grand. All not to say it would make this process faster, but it would take way longer to build a fortress than it would to just upgrade these guys. So we're just going to upgrade them. We'll be patient. Goal here is we're basically going to throw the swordsmen in front to tank as much of the damage as we can, and then we're going to put the elves to the archers to use and just have them slaughter anything that gets near the swordsman. That's the general plan. I will probably take the swordsman up and to the right and take the archers through the middle pass. So up and to the right, I keep glancing over there. Basically, what's over there is a small goblin stronghold. There's not any fortresses, but there's I think there's a wild troll cave that they've tamed, and there's also I think a goblin cave and a couple of towers. So you do have to deal with that. Plus, they've got their army over there. Down the middle is the mountain giant. So that's why I'm thinking that the soldiers can tank the damage and fight off the army, and the archers can go kill the mountain giant, and then we'll have a clear access through the pass. I'm going to take Glorfindel on his archers, and I'm going to move them quickly. I'm going to take Gloin and the soldiers and move them over to the right. That can take more time. These guys are the ones we want to be quick about. Okay. So this is what I was talking about earlier. You can't actually get reinforcements because Haldir is over there. He's got a small army of his own, and so if you can take control of it, you can gain a couple extra battalions, and you can bolster your army. At the very least, you'll get Haldir. He's not the greatest elven hero, but he does have access to leadership, which is nice. So it's worth it for no other reason than that. But if you can get the couple extra battalions, that's good too. All right, let's use Gloin's tower. Let's take down that watchtower. Let's push with Glorfindel forward to save Haldir. All right, let's take down this tunnel. Now, one of the things with goblins is once you destroy their initial building, you have to then destroy the rubble that remains. Otherwise, it'll self-build over time. I guess in that case it didn't matter, but it's okay. Alright, Glorfindel, come up here. We're just going to attack move this way, towards the bottom. Gloin, please kill the troll, please. Any day now. I really wanted to use that on Gloin's guys, but... Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put these soldiers in guard, because they don't have upgrades. And they're getting bodied. And then we're going to take them and move them away from the action as much as possible. Let Haldir tank the damage, which we've done. Now we've got our archers. We can take down what's left of this layer. And let's just rejoin our troops. Move them with Gloin's army. I want Glorfindel. Now that we've got Haldir, I want Glorfindel and Gloin to lead the soldiers. Ah, great. And they're upgraded. I want them to lead the soldiers, and I want Haldir to lead the archers. Let's move these guys away. I don't know what those soldiers are doing. Whew, that was close. Okay, if we can rejoin our armies, we'll be in good shape. Let's go ahead and just... We've got the money. We'll build the fortress. Why not? We'll just wait on our guys to heal up, and then we'll push forward. So there's a couple areas left. There's up and to the right and up and to the left. So up and to the right, it's kind of like... You have to kill them both. I think you have to wipe out everything in the pass. Up and to the right is kind of like the end of the level. Or at least it's meant to be the end of the level. And so I will save it for last. We're going to work our way around up and to the left first. And then move our way to the right. You can see there's a few troops up there, but it's nothing serious yet. Apparently I forgot the rest of my fortress upgrades. It's fine. Okay, how are we looking? We're getting there. Yeah, I think we're good enough. Okay, so now I was thinking we'd have a little bit more than that, but we've still got 2 extra battalions that we would not have had, and we've got Haldir. So that is actually a nice little addition to our army. Let's go ahead and wait. We can get this and then go tend to our army. Okay, so he does have leadership. It's not the best leadership. I generally like the percentage-based leaderships that give a little bit to damage and a little bit to armor, or a lot to one or the other. Haldir just does plus 50 damage to elves, so it's not the best. But, you know, we'll take what we can get. He is not a great hero. He's maybe the second worst that the elves have to offer. Arwen is still by far the worst, but she does get flood, so there's that. Alright, come on. The elves actually don't have a lot in the way of leadership, I don't think. It might just be Haldir, actually. So I don't think Thranduil offers leadership. Okay. Let's bring Gloin forward. There's a fissure over here. Now, we played the evil campaign first, so we know what they do. They basically summon mountain giants, trolls, and whatnot. We're going to send Gloin over, and he's basically going to one-shot it with his hammer. He's very powerful, but he's very slow and tanky, and he is not exactly a support hero. He's not meant to be supported. He is meant to do the damage. There are some heroes that they support your troops while your troops do the attacking, and there are some heroes that do everything for your troops. I prefer the support heroes, to be honest with you. Just let my army do the attacking, but sometimes it's nice to have that complete and total destruction of a building in one shot, you know? Okay, so the top left is out. We just have to worry about the top right. Let's go ahead and, why not? Let's finish getting these arrow towers. Looks good. Now it gets a little bit trickier through here. This region is going to be a lot better defended. So we've already got a couple of towers up, but they also have access to spider riders. I love spider riders, but they can be a pain against your units if you don't have pikes. We're not going to struggle too much with them. There's only a couple of battalions. I don't think they're fully upgraded, and we've got a big army. But it is something to be aware of. It's not as useful to have horsemen for that reason. There's one other reason where you really don't want a lot of horsemen, and I'll be clear in a minute. It has to do with the twist for this level. But personally, I don't think it's as useful. Okay, well, it's not ready yet. So once we're finished with this level, the next stage, and I want to make sure I say this now so I'm not like rushing to say it at the end of the level. Oh, I thought they had a full battalion. It's literally just 2. Screw that. Those guys are dead. The next stage, we're going to move from here to, I believe the next level is the Blue Mountains. We're basically trying to strengthen an alliance between the elves and the dwarves, and so we're going to the dwarves of the Blue Mountains in order to shore up the relationships there. Now the problem is the dwarves of the Blue Mountains have been overrun by goblins and by Drogoth. Now we encountered Drogoth in the Evil campaign. Sauron makes a pact with her. Okay, this right here, this is why you don't want cavalry. They summon a Watcher, and your infantry is useless. So get some archers. Anyway, he makes a pact with Drogoth, and Drogoth takes over the Blue Mountains and starts driving the dwarves away. If you know anything about Tolkien, dragons are no laughing matter. It's really hard to kill them, and so Sauron knew what he was doing. Our goal is we're going to go in and help them reclaim their mountain home, in the hopes that will strengthen the elf-and-dwarf relationships, and they will join us in the fight against Sauron. So that's what we have to look forward to next. I lied. There's one level first. That will be level 4. We're going to the Entomors. So the Entomors, ancient home of the elves, it also happens, or not the elves, ancient home of the Ents, it also happens to be very near Carn Dûm. In fact, the goblins have holed up in Carn Dûm, so we're moving forth to help our elven allies in the Entomors who are under serious attack, and to hopefully quell the goblin forces in the region. The Entomors, or the goblins, have kind of holed up in Carn Dûm, and they've made a serious stronghold. So our goal is to go in there, drive out the goblins, and weaken their presence before they can do any serious damage to our armies. That's going to be coming next, then we'll go to the Blue Mountains, and hopefully we'll be there in a couple of weeks. Thanks, guys.